Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this really simple beginner's sewing project, and it is a table runner. It's a great project to start with, so you can make it any length or any width you like. You can also make it with or without the trim on it, so it'll look great with the trim and without the trim. Okay, let's get started. I am demonstrating the shorter table runner version, and mine finishes at 14 inches wide by 40 inches long, but you can make yours any size and any width. If you want to make it this size, you'll need 1.5 yards. So if you want to make it longer, let's just say 60 inches or longer, or 50 inches or longer, you're going to need 1 yard of fabric. If you're going to be placing food on your table runner, then I do recommend you wash your fabric. Check the label at the end of your bolt of fabric in the store to make sure it can be washed or if it has to be dry cleaned. If you can wash it, pre-zigzag stitch your fabric. So unfold it, zigzag stitch the 2 raw edges because it will unravel during the wash and dry cycle. Then press your fabric, then fold it back in half with the selvage edges together. I recommend using a rotary cutter and rotary cutter ruler for cutting your edges. So you want to cut this edge straight. Then for the width, if you want it to finish at 14 inches, you want to go over 14.5. That extra ½ inch is for seam allowance. Line up your ruler and then cut it straight. If you're making a longer table runner, you need to cut 1 more piece. So again, move over 14.5 inches and do your second cut. After cutting the fabric, then place your ruler across the selvage edges and make sure you cut those off. So if you're going to make the longer version of the table runner, you want to bring the 2 pieces together, front sides together, and that's the pretty side. Bring those together. Then do a ½ inch wide seam straight across, and then press your seam open. I recommend you use either fusible interfacing or fusible fleece. If you want to use cotton batting, make sure you understand that you have to do quilting stitch patterns. So if you're a beginner, use the fusible interfacing or fusible fleece. If you're using the interfacing, you can either use the lightweight or medium weight. So your interfacing and your fleece comes in 20-inch widths off of the bolt. So you want to measure the length of your table runner, and that's how many inches or yards you need to get. You can make this table runner with or without the trim on the edges. So if you want the trim, I'm using 2-inch wide trim, and mine is 100% cotton. So if you buy cotton trim, I recommend you pre-wash it and just don't put it in the washing machine. Just put it in a little bowl of some cool water, mild soap, let it soak for a few minutes and then rinse it and lay it out to dry. So to determine how much trim you need, you want to measure all 4 sides of your table runner, then add 6 inches to it, and that's how many inches or yards of trim you will need. The trim I'm using is from Walmart. It's in the sewing and craft area of the store. Not all Walmarts will carry this product, so you can get this on 6 feet rolls. For my small table runner, I had to purchase 2 rolls. I didn't use all of the second roll. So keep in mind you may have to buy more rolls depending on the length of your table runner. Joann Fabrics and Crafts also sells trim. The fabric for the back, you would buy the same amount as you did for the fabric on the front of the runner. Place that down first with the pretty side of the fabric. So if it's got a print on it, that pretty side of the fabric is going to be facing up. Take your fabric for the top of the table runner and put the pretty side down. So you're looking at the back side, not so pretty side. Then you're interfacing. One side will be rough. That's the side that needs to go down. That's where the glue is. Now you want to place pins around all 4 edges. Now in one area, you're going to indicate an opening. That's so that you can turn it front side out later, so you won't stitch over that area. So here's my opening. I have 1 pin on the side where I want to start stitching and 2 pins on the side I want to stop stitching. So start here, back stitch first. You're going to do a 1/4 inch wide seam from the raw edge. So stitch all the way down to this corner. Once you get a 1/4 inch away from this edge, leave your needle down through the fabric, lift the presser foot, turn your fabric, and continue stitching. You want to do that at all of your corners. So stitch all the way around the edge. When you get to the 2 pins, back stitch. At all 4 corners, you want to trim a little bit of the fabric off so that the corners will lay flat once you turn it front side out. So from the stitch line, you want to go out about 1/8 of an inch and trim some of it off. Then you want to just take a little bit off of each side. And again, you do it at all 4 corners. Now reach in between your 2 fabrics and begin turning it front side out. So once you get your table runner all turned out, you want to go in and poke out all your corners. You can use something like this, but this is still very pointy, so make sure you don't push too hard, otherwise it's going to go right through your fabric. While you're pressing, you want to turn your edges in 1/4 of an inch and try to make it straight across here. Then place a few pins to hold it closed. Then go to your sewing machine and you're going to stitch around all 4 edges about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Now on my trim, I have a scalloped edge on one side and then a fairly straight edge on the other side. The straight edge I'm going to put over the top here, and I'm going to go about 1/4 of an inch in. As you're placing it down, you want to leave on this, I'm using 2-inch wide. So because I'm using 2-inch wide, I need to go out about 1.5 inches on each end. So leave that amount out on each end. Then go ahead and place pins right along here. Then you want to just stitch close to the edge of your trim all the way across. Once you finish one side, then go to the opposite side and do the same thing. Now you're going to do the 2 shorter ends of your table runner. Take your trim and lay it down, and you're going to place the raw edge along the scalloped edge right here. And again, overlap your table runner by 1/4 of an inch and pin it across. Take each corner and you're going to fold it under so that it goes at a diagonal like this. Then place a pin or 2 to hold it. Then stitch right on top, go straight across, and then down. And you want to back stitch at each end. And then go to the opposite end and do the same thing. Then look underneath your corners and you'll see a little piece like this sticking out. You want to trim this down to about 1/4 of an inch wide. You can use scissors or a rotary cutter. And then after cutting, you can either do a little whip stitch by hand to protect these raw edges from coming apart, or you can insert this into your sewing machine and do a zigzag stitch. So this is what the table runner should look like when you're all done. Now remember, you can make it any width or any length that you like. Remember to read the label at the end of the fabric bolt so you understand how to care for the table runner. What I like to do to my table runners, especially if I'm going to put food on them, is I like to spray Scotchgard on it. So all I have to do is just wipe it off, because sometimes when you put them in the washing machine, they don't always look as great as when it was freshly made. Now, if you're interested in other table runner projects, I have a lot. There will be a playlist listed below your YouTube screen in the description section. So just scroll down below your YouTube screen, click on the words Show More, and it will expand open. I'll also have a few other beginners sewing projects. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram so you can kind of keep up with some of the tutorials that will be coming up. And also, don't forget to check out my Facebook page and see all the beautiful projects that we have made here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.